Factsverse presents. These wedding dresses made guests truly uncomfortable. For most brides-to-be, the most important detail of the wedding planning is finding the perfect dress. Many women search for weeks, even months, to find the perfect wedding dress. And when they do find the perfect dress, they'll often spend thousands of dollars on it. Why do women care so much about the dress? Well, the answer is simple. A woman's wedding is one of the most important days of her life. On a woman's wedding day, all eyes are on her, and because of this, she wants to look perfect. Women also care so much about the dress because that is what they're expected to do. While some women hit the mark when it comes to choosing the perfect dress, other women don't, and we have a few wedding dresses that never should have been worn down the aisle. This wedding dress is ridiculous for a few reasons. First, no grown woman should ever incorporate balloons to any article of clothing, unless she's a professional clown, of course. Also, how is she supposed to sit and enjoy her meal at the reception wearing this? As soon as she sits down, the balloons are going to pop, ruining the dress. It's not an elegant dress, it's not a beautiful dress, it's not a convenient dress. As long as she doesn't sit or go near sharp objects, her dress might make it through the wedding. Hopefully, she won't have to pass her dress down to her daughter when she gets married. By then, the dress will have deflated. Many wedding dresses have trains, but they're often just a foot or two in length. The woman who wore this dress for her wedding, she went a bit too far with the train. The train on this dress is the length of an actual train. In fact, it probably required a train engine just to have the power enough to pull this thing. It's so long all of her guests had to hold it up while she said her vows. You'd think that instead of worrying about the train, she'd want her guests to enjoy her wedding and pay attention to the vows. Is a train this length even necessary? You can be sure the groom didn't see the dress before the wedding because he likely would have tried to talk her out of it. Her bridal party didn't do their job either. If they did, they would never have let her wear this monstrosity. Who didn't love 90s fashion? It was all about fun, wasn't it? The most popular materials were sparkly and had fur. The 90s were the last carefree decade because 9/11 hadn't happened yet. It was a time we could still have fun. The bride in this photo seems as if she can't let go of the 90s. While a 90s bride would never have worn this dress, this bride must have been feeling nostalgic about the fun decade before people got too serious. The dress is absolutely hideous. The bridesmaids' dresses may not be appropriate for a wedding, but they would look great if one of these girls was dancing on a pole. The whole wedding party is a fashion no. Hello Kitty is a cute cartoon character. She's very popular. Girls young and old love Hello Kitty. Some wear Hello Kitty t-shirts or pajamas. Some carry Hello Kitty backpacks and purses. Some even decorate the inside of their car with Hello Kitty. While each of these things is relatively acceptable, when you make Hello Kitty the guest of honor at your wedding, you're taking things way too far. This bride had Hello Kitty incorporated into her dress and the wedding decorations. When she looks back at her wedding photos in 30 years, she's going to kick herself for making this decision. There's nothing wrong with the Bohemian style, but somebody should have told this woman that it's not the best style for a wedding dress. It looks as though she just sewed some random white scraps and rags together. Seems like it won't even hold up through the ceremony and the reception. Little girls love to play dress-up, and they love to dress like fairies. And that's great when you're a kid. But there comes a time when you gotta grow up, and you have to recognize that you're too old to play dress-up, except for Halloween and Comic-Cons, of course. Somebody should have told this bride that her wedding is not a Comic-Con, because she decided to make her wedding a game of dress-up. Had she not put on a massive pair of fairy wings, the dress would have actually been gorgeous. With the wings, though, she just looks ridiculous. She's lucky to have a guy who's willing to marry her wearing a pair of wings. Before her wedding day, somebody should have told her that there is a time and a place for dress-up and weddings is not that time. Most women are willing to spend thousands of dollars on a wedding dress, but no woman should ever spend more on a dress than they spend on their first house. This bride, Evka, was 19 years old when she got married. She wanted to wear a dress that would be unforgettable. And yeah, the dress is nice, but it's the price tag that makes it unforgettable. Her dress made international headlines. Many people couldn't believe that a girl so young would spend $235,000 on a dress. Talk about blowing your whole wedding budget on just one thing. White is the traditional color for wedding dresses, but not every bride wants to wear white. Some go with a cream-colored dress or even a pink one. This bride didn't want a traditional dress and shocked most of the people at her wedding. The top of the dress is classic, but the rainbow skirt really makes her stand out. If you like to walk off the beaten path, I guess this is a pretty great dress. Theme weddings aren't as popular as they used to be, but some people still like them. This couple decided to have the strangest theme wedding ever. They had a Shrek wedding. The groom was dressed as Shrek, the bride was dressed as Fiona, complete with green skin. It's a little crazy, but they do look happy. Hey, at least the wedding party wasn't dressed as donkeys, cats, and the gingerbread man. Plant enthusiasts love the cacti plant. Loving the plant is one thing, but creating a wedding dress to look like the plant? That's a little bit much. This woman's dress is ridiculous, and she didn't even have access to her hands. How do you place the ring on her finger during the ceremony? How do you dance at your wedding or cut the cake? This dress must have put a damper on the entire wedding. This bride chose not to wear a traditional wedding dress, but she went way past the mark on this one. A black dress with rainbows is not your average wedding dress. The groom was dressed just like his bride, too. Well, at least she's marrying somebody supportive. This woman wanted a traditional wedding gown with a twist. The shape and the front of the dress are traditional. When she turns around, though, the dress is not quite so traditional. The flames on the back of the dress make it interesting and less conventional. Wedding dresses are made from any different materials, but you don't often see a wedding dress made of diapers. Yeah, this bride must have needed hundreds of diapers to create this dress. Hey, at least she doesn't have to leave the reception to use the bathroom, right? Her dress will provide plenty of absorption. She could have gone all night without a bathroom break with all those diapers draped around her. This wedding dress made guests truly uncomfortable, I'm sure. This couple decided to go with a Gangsta style for their wedding attire. The bride's dress has the word "wifey" spray-painted on it, and the bridesmaid's wearing a jean skirt and a spray-painted tee. This is one of the less traditional, less classy dresses on our list, but at least everybody looks happy. This bride wanted a true redneck wedding. Her dress is camo, and her father is following her down the aisle to signify a shotgun wedding. What could be more redneck than that, huh? Unfortunately, there are no photos of the groom. It'd be nice to see what he chose to wear for this big day. I'm thinking camouflage tux with a hunter's orange vest. For some reason, the bride does not look too happy. Maybe that's what happens when there's a man wielding a rifle following you down the aisle. The bride in this photo understands that punk rock isn't just a style, it's a way of life. True to her life, she decided to wear a punk rock wedding dress. Her dress is the traditional white, but the length is less conventional. The laced wrestling sneakers aren't exactly elegant either, but hey, they work with the dress, I guess. She passed on the traditional tiara or veil as a headpiece, and she went with horns. Hopefully this was not a church wedding. Seeing the bride walking down the aisle wearing horns would have made any priest feel uneasy. Two of the most significant expenses at a wedding are, of course, the bride's dress and the wedding cake. Some people pay hundreds, even thousands of dollars on these two items. Well, this bride figured that, hey, if she has a dress made out of her wedding cake, that would cut the cost in half. Well, this might not have been the best idea. Sitting down in this dress would be impossible, and no bride wants her guests crowded around her eating from her dress. Also, if she got married on a hot day, this dress would not last long. It might be a money saver, but it's not the most practical choice for a dress. On the plus side, though, the bride does look delicious. Christmas is not the most popular date for a wedding, but some couples do choose this date. The bride in this photo set her wedding date on Christmas, and she didn't stop there. The shape of the dress is traditional, but it looks like a decorated Christmas tree. This dress might be creative for, well, an office Christmas party, but for a wedding, you need to make a better choice. During most weddings, people toast the bride and groom. The happy couple want to be sure that there's enough champagne on hand for everyone to raise a glass. This bride took that a bit too literally. She had a dress designed to hold about 100 champagne glasses. Sitting might be a problem with that dress. If she walks too fast, she could end up spilling. At least she didn't have to go up to the bar to get a drink during the reception, though. She had plenty to drink hanging right there from the dress. That's the only useful thing I can think of for this dress. Here's another bride who thought it'd be a good idea to turn herself into a serving tray during her wedding. Rather than having a wedding cake, though, she opted for wedding cupcakes. This dress could hold hundreds of cupcakes for all of her guests. Dancing and even walking had to be difficult, and there's nothing worse than guests picking things off of your dress. She should have trusted the caterer to set a cake table up correctly. She probably would have had more fun at her wedding. Have you seen any strange or bizarre wedding dresses in your life? Tell us about them in the comments, and subscribe for more.